Here are your algebra notes for section 4.2. We are going to be writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. Let me remind you to pause the video every time you need to write this down, write the title, write the section, put down example problems. This is writing linear equations in slope-intercept form. We've done this before, but we're going to add to it. There's your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. You're already very familiar with that. Previous examples. For this part of the notes, if you want to just watch and remind yourself what the previous examples are, that's fine. If you would rather write them down again, it is review, but you can take the time to write them down. You've been asked before to write an equation of a line with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5, and since our slope is m, -2, and our y-intercept of 5 is b, we just then write it in y equals mx plus b form. Y equals mx plus b. -2 for the m, 5 for the b. Then next we said, what if you were given 2 points, but one of the points crosses the y-axis? This was from section 4.1. Here were your 2 points. You know exactly which one crosses the y-axis because it's a y-intercept. So you already know that this is b. The problem is you don't know what m is. And that's where you have to find it using your formula. Rewrite this down if you'd like to have it handy. And we will find the equation or the slope of this line by taking y2, which is 17, minus y1, which is 5. x2 is 4, x1 is 0. 17 minus 5 is 12. 4 minus 0 is 4. And therefore your slope in reduced form is 3. Now you know your m. You also had your b there. So y equals mx plus b. Review from the previous section. Review from chapter 3. What could we do that's different? In this case, you're going to write an equation on a line that passes through a point. We have 1 point, and this time they already gave us the slope. We don't have to use the whole slope formula, as you see here, because they're going to today give you the slope. The problem is we don't have the base. We don't have the y-intercept. It doesn't work if there's not a 0 in front here. So take the time to write this problem down. Write the full out instructions, at least the first time. Write an equation on a line that passes through the point. Write the point with parentheses and a comma. We know m is -4. We need a formula called the point slope formula. Write this formula down. Please pay very close attention that you only need 1 y and 1 x. Here's your x1. Here's your y1. The reason why you only need 1 is you only have 1. These x's and y's don't have a subscript with them. They're not numbered, which means they are your variables. They stay in the equation. You need a y and an x in your equation. Pause it if you need to write this down. Label your x1 and y1. You have your m. From there, we then plug in numbers to a formula, just like if this was a geometry formula or finding area of a figure. Y minus y1. Your y1 up there is 3. Equals. In place of m, you put a -4. Parentheses. Keep your x. Y and x are in the equation. Minus, and look at your x1 up there. It's -2. X subtract -2. Go ahead and take care of that. It's a little cumbersome. If you right away want to turn it into +2. X plus 2 is a better format for that. Now we clean it up. From here, it says, okay, how do I use my algebra skills, what I know about solving equations, to get y equals mx plus b? Every time you do this, it'll be 2 steps. And you will find a pattern that you end up using the same 2 steps every time. Step 1, distribute. If you distribute that, over here you're still left with y minus 3 equals negative 4x, and a negative 4 times 2, remember we changed that into a positive, is a negative 8. There's step 1. Step 2, we've worked on this. We've tried to isolate y before. We're going to isolate y by adding 3 to both sides. Make sure you add it where you have like terms. A 3 and an x are not alike. A 3 and an 8 are. Cancel those out. Y equals negative 4x. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. And there you have your y equals mx plus b. M is negative 4. We already knew that. And now we found b. B is negative 5. That's the gist of your notes today. We're going to practice it 3 more times to get used to it and plus see a little bit different variations. Now, instead of writing down this whole entire directions every time, for example number 2, why don't you just write down the point and the slope. Every time we'll have a point and a slope. The slope is negative 1, so we'll write m equals negative 1. Point slope formula again. Pause it if you want to rewrite it. We'll put it in its format. Reminder that this is x1 up here. This is y1. So as we plug in the numbers, the y remains a variable. Minus 2 equals, your slope is negative 1, parentheses, x, minus, and this time we have a positive 3. So it's just x minus 3. Same 2 steps we did before. Distribute first. Y minus 2 equals negative 1x plus 3. You guys all know how I feel about that 1. It's in your work right now. We'll clean it up in a second. Next step, add 2 to both sides. And your final result is y equals negative x plus 5. Don't put that 1 in front of there or you'll end up with some in the swear jar. Third one. Again, take the time to just write the point and the slope down. You don't have to write the full equation or the full directions because it's the same every time. We know the slope is 7. We know x1 is 2 and y1 is 0. That's not the same as what we did before when we had the b and the y-intercept. Before, when we had the y-intercept, the 0 came in the x position and we had the y. So we have to do the full out formula again. Plug it in carefully and keep track of all of our numbers. Y minus 0 equals 7, parentheses, x minus 2. This is a friendly equation to work with because we don't need y minus 0. We can just leave it as y equals. Distributive property, make sure you get both of them. Not only 7 to x, but 7 to negative 2. Y equals 7x minus 14. Pause it if you need more time, but we're going to work on the last one. Same directions. Go ahead and write the new point down, which is negative 3, 6. Has a slope of negative 2. We'll translate that into our slope being negative 2. We have the point slope formula. We know this is x1 and y1. Fill in the blanks. Y minus 6 equals negative 2 goes in for your slope times x minus, careful, negative 3. That's a mistake you'll make in your homework and in your daily quizzes and on your tests. Minus a negative. Plus, plus. Get rid of that. First step, distribute again. I told you you'd see a pattern. The pattern is you keep doing distributive and then addition or subtraction property every time. Negative 2x. Make sure you take the negative 2 all the way over here to the 3, and you get negative 6. Add 6 to both sides. Look at what happens. Y equals negative 2x. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Please don't write the 0. Your equation is still in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 2x plus 0. M is negative 2. Base is 0. If you had to graph it, you'd start at 0. But lucky today, your assignment, you do not have to graph them. What you have to do is the point-slope formula over and over and over. On page 236, 3 through 8, that's 6 problems. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have to do 6 problems of plugging them in. Make sure you check the odds in the back of the book and to know that you're on the right track. And that's it.